This is Kibera. It is 5 kilometres from the centre of the Kenyan capital of Nairobi. It is widely accepted as being the world's largest slum. Its area is approximately 2.5 square kilometres, and the population is somewhere between 750,000 and 1 million. Nobody is really sure. Whatever the estimates, one thing is certain. Conditions on the ground are like nothing you've ever seen before. Waste and refuse are virtually everywhere you look. Sanitation is virtually non-existent, and open sewers flow down almost every alleyway. Children play amidst squalor and contaminated watercourses. The stench is overpowering, and not surprisingly, disease is rife. Around 20% of children die before the age of 5, and close to 60% of the adult population are HIV positive. The average family lives in a single-room shack and survives on the equivalent of around 85 pence per day. Most children will only eat one basic meal per day. In short, it is the scene of some of the worst poverty and most appalling living conditions on our planet.
You look behind me, you look at... That's just insane. This is like 40 years of rubbish built up. And the kids are sometimes playing in the water, you know, this is sewage. They shouldn't even be in this water. It's insane, you know.
Yet despite all this, Kibera is an active, vibrant community. With places to buy groceries, get a takeaway, or get your hair done. Life goes on with apparent normality. It's only when you look closer that you see the reality. These men are digging in an open sewer. They're searching for old nails and screws that they can sell. This is the local hardware store where everything is recycled. This man sells odd shoes and is mending a pair of flip-flops. But the people of Kibera are not looking for handouts. The majority retain a sense of dignity and a desire to make something of their lives. A tiny charity called Kibera in Need, or KIN for short, is helping to make this possible. This film is about the work that they do there. Monica is 70 years old, and even in a world where hardship is the norm, her circumstances are truly exceptional. Monica's entire home is a tiny space, only 6 feet by 8 feet.
How are you, Monica? How many children live with you here, Monica?
Nauliza unakaa na watoto ngapi hapa?
Ni 9 kama hawajachukua wengine.
She's saying that she has 9 children here.
Ni wachukuu yangu.
Ni wajukuu. Ni kutoka kwa familia zenu.
Ni wachukuu wangu wa vijana.
Okay. She is saying that those are the grandchildren from our own children, our own sons.
Her sons, yeah.
Some of them are alive and others are not alive.
Yeah. And Monica, where do the children sleep? at night?
Unauliza watoto wanalala wapi usiku? Tuonyeshe inue hiyo kitambaa waone ataka kuona.
Wanalala tu hapa, tunalala hapa wengine.
They say that some sleep
Na wengine
here,
ni hapa tu.
others
Hivi
sleep
tu,
here.
imefika hivi.
She springs the mat on the floor and the mattress on the floor, so they sleep inside here.
Where do you cook the food for the children?
Unauliza unapikianga wapi?
Hapa.
This is where she cooks. The food prepares food for the children by the use of the charcoal.
How does Monica manage to buy food for this family and to pay the rent?
Unaulizwa unalipanga hii rent namna gani
Hii rent.
na kununua chakula?
Niseme tu Mungu ako na mimi.
She is saying that she only depends on the food that comes from King through riziki that is given on a weekly basis. That's what she is able to depend on.
When it rains, what happens in this house?
Wanakuuliza saa hii kulikuwa kunanyesha, kulikuwa kunatendeka aje kwa hii nyumba?
Nyumba hii inanyeshewa. Hata
Kuonyesha bali kunanyesha vile kunanyesha.
Inanyesha hapa, tumeweka makaratasi na iwezi.
You can
Inanyesha
see.
huku wote.
When I have a look at that, she said that on top there, she has covered, you can see some mosquitoes from there. There's some water that is up there. That when it rains, that the house becomes very wet. The bed where the children are sleeping, and that's why she has used those polythene papers to be able to cover.
Hata hapa hivi kama inanyesha huwezi kaa.
Yeah, even here you cannot sit down here when it rains.
And sometimes on the floor.
And the floor becomes wet.
Yeah. And
Saa hiyo tunaamka.
And then she's also saying that when it rains, they all stand. They cannot sleep because now the floor is wet. So all of them they stand and start now waiting until morning.
Asante.
Yeah.
Hata mimi nashukuru.
Yeah.
Ile tulipatana.
Rehousing Monica and her family is one of Kin's highest priorities.
Sina malipo, lakini malipo ni ya Mungu.
She's saying that she's very happy that and very privileged that she happened to meet me because she doesn't know where she could be now if she never met me. That's why I was through you. She's able to. The children are able to learn and she's life is better now. Yeah, she really thanks God for that because we just met within the slum.
yes, yeah.
One of the most amazing things about Kibera is the children. Many have never seen their own reflection, so our cameras were a source of great interest. There are hundreds of thousands of them, and despite the conditions that they have to live in, most seem remarkably happy. This may well be because they have never known anything different, and it certainly isn't the life that you would choose for your own child. For children, the only way out of the slums is through education. To stand any chance of getting what could be classed as a proper job, it is essential to have a certificate of secondary education. Without this, about the best that can be hoped for is casual labour and day-to-day subsistence living. Schools do exist in and around Kibera, but it costs money to go to them. When money is so limited, the priorities are rent and food. Education is the first thing to go. School places are limited, and if fees are not forthcoming, eventually the children are asked to leave. One of the most tangible ways that Kibera in Need has effect is through its guardianship scheme, where a sponsor in the UK pledges to fund the education of a child in Kibera. This money covers school fees, uniform, shoes, books, vaccinations, medical care, and a hot meal 6 days a week. 11-year-old Dan has just been accepted onto the scheme. The Manchester United shirt is a gift from his sponsors in the UK, and he hasn't taken it off since he got it. His younger brother is called Ibrahim, and collecting water is one of the daily tasks that they have to perform.
Sometimes we are eating one times in a day, and sometimes my father will not have money for paying for us for school fees.
When you don't go to school, what do you do?
I just take my book and read.
You read at home?
Yes.
Do you have to help your dad? You have jobs, chores to do?
Yes.
What do you have to do?
Washing utensils.
Yeah.
And washing clothes. Sometimes I cook for him.
This is the one-roomed house where the three of them live and sleep in one bed. Abraham has yet to find a sponsor. Until now, that is.
It was lovely a couple of days ago when I was able to tell Dan that he had a sponsor for school.
Nasema ya kwamba juzi tulikuwa hapa na tulielezea ndani ya kwamba amepata sponsor.
But when I came, we didn't have a sponsor for Ibrahim.
Na wakati tulikuja hatukuwa na sponsor ya Ibrahim. Ibrahim hakuwa sponsor msidi.
But now, Ibrahim, we do have a sponsor for you as well.
Ibrahim umpata sponsor sasa.
Yes.
Eh?
So
Yeah. Sema thank you.
yeah. And your sponsor, as we have a few things that have come for you because we didn't have a parcel for you last time.
Yes.
It may not look like much, but you have just witnessed the life of a child being changed beyond recognition. And the cost of this transformation? £20 per month.
In here, but it will be difficult for me to get it out.
It's not the end of going to fetch water for Dan and Ibrahim, but they now have a real chance of a life outside the slums. The kin guardianship programme is administered on the ground by a local charity called Riziki Kenya. It is staffed by a dedicated team which go and work in the slum on a daily basis.
For the few years that I've worked with Riziki, I've seen total transformation from the children, and basically I can testify and say yes that the children are doing well. Many families have many children, and some of the children, they never used to go to school, but now, since kin came through Riziki, many children have been able to go to school and have been able to access basic care like food, medical support, and also the uniforms, books, and the rest of the things that come with the kin guardianship program.
Working with a local organisation like Riziki means that kin's efforts and resources are targeted in areas where they are most needed.
At Riziki, we work with orphans and vulnerable children and their caregivers. We try to empower these children to achieve their maximum potential in life. We believe that these orphans and vulnerable children have a lot of talent and gifts, natural gifts, that can be developed so that these children can be able to live fulfilled lives. So in partnership with the kin, we provide these children with education. We also feed the children at school with hot lunch. We also feed them at feeding centers during the week. We are very grateful for the work that kin is doing in raising resources that come to feed these children. These resources also come to empower the caregivers in a business development scheme where they are empowered to begin small businesses and given capacity to sustain them so that they can be able to feed their children. We are also doing community health programs, HIV and AIDS programs with the children and with the community at large. We are involved in youth mentorship and vocational training. And again, this is very good because youth who have not been able to continue with the school or who have not been able to get school fees to be able to complete, we help them access vocational training so that they are equipped with the skills that they can use for their own lives.
Kibera in Need also helps adults through its micro-business programme. Kin patron Misha Paris is meeting a group of women that make beads from old magazines.
Yeah, you see, I'm getting loose again, you see.
They cut long triangular strips of paper which are rolled and glued to create individual beads.
Then you put the glue on. Okay, go on, you do the rest, because I'm doing a bit.
These strings of beads are then dipped in clear varnish and allowed to dry.
You put it round it like that. All right. How long does it take you to make one of these? Just one?
One.
Yeah, how long it take? Time? How much time it take?
Only 1 day. You roll this one.
Yes.
Then you
leave it to set.
Yeah.
Leave to set.
Yeah. After finish, then you.
The beads are sold within Kibera, but Kin also brings them into the UK, where they are sold in charity shops and fair trade outlets.
Okay. So which is my one? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, hers is much better. But what do you think? This is my one.
You've tried.
Thanks, that was very subtle. She said you've tried. Nice. Nice one. Great. Yeah.
Solomon and his brothers have a business making charcoal briquettes from old paper and charcoal dust.
This is briquettes. Briquettes is a mixture of peppers and charcoal dust. And also it's very economic for people of Kibera to use, especially people of Nairobi, because we are making only 3. After getting dry, only 3 is enough for making lunch or supper. And each we are selling 6 bob, 6 shillings. So it's very economical and it's very good for people of Kibera.
As a program in Riziki, Kenya, we offer training basically to help the beneficiaries have the skills to be entrepreneurs who will be able to do different businesses and gain that economic capacity to progress in life. So training is very key to us. We also offer seed capital after the training, which is meant to help them either start off businesses or upscale the enterprises that they are running. In the event where an individual feels he or she can start an enterprise using those skills as an individual, we are there to support them and build them up so that they can run those businesses. We have evidence of people who have left Kibera and gone out there to do businesses elsewhere after outgrowing our services, and that is our joy.
For visitors, Kibera creates a number of mixed emotions. Estelle Goodwin, the founder of Kin, tries to describe what makes Kibera so unique.
I think it's the resilience of the people. The people live in very difficult conditions in Kibera, but their humanity and their spirit stays very strong. And they retain a sense of humour too. I struggle sometimes to think whether I would be able to be as strong as the people there are in such conditions. Our goals for the children are that they will be able to go to school, they'll go through their primary and their secondary school, and if possible we help them with some vocational training at the end, and they'll be able to become self-supporting young adults. We know that without education they stand no chance of getting any formal employment, and they will be in the informal sector and probably struggling to support themselves and any families that they have. For the caregivers, we also want to give them opportunities as well to try and earn some income for their families. So we work with Riziki Kenya in microfinance by providing loans so that the ladies and the other caregivers can start a small business, and we work closely to help them so that those businesses can earn an income.
Every Saturday, Kin and Riziki run a feeding session where hundreds of children get a hot meal. When there are visitors from England, it is a cause for great celebration, which everyone joins in with. Local women from the community prepare the food. Meanwhile, Misha spends time with some of the children. When the festivities are over, it's time for the main event. For many of the children, this one meal will be as much food as they have to eat as for the entire rest of the week. The portions are huge, but even the smallest children eat everything. It may look like there are a lot of kids here, but it is just a tiny fraction of all the children in Kibera. With more funding, Kin and Riziki could reach out to so many more. For the most needy families, food packages to help sustain them through the week are also distributed.
It's really amazing. This is feeding day on a Saturday, and all I can say, once you see the looks on their faces when they start eating the food, it's amazing. It's just really emotional. It's quite an emotional moment, really, because you know that every day they probably only have like a meal. Even, I mean, if they're lucky, they have a meal. Usually they have like just a bit of corn to get them through the day. And Saturday is the feeding day. This is the only day they get a full meal. And it's just the looks on their faces, they're really happy. And it's nice to see them like that. It's, the only thing is you kind of wish you could do it every day, you know. But it's great.
When visitors from overseas come to Kibera, it is customary to bring sweets and small gifts for the children. For many of them, this is the only time that they get to taste candy, so it's not surprising they are happy to queue up for it.
Dangerous as well, isn't it? You think, like, if you make one wrong step.
On a visit to Kibera, kin patron Misha Paris met with Jimmy Gate, a Kenyan celebrity who has had a lot of involvement with Riziki and the slums.
When I saw what's happening here, when I came here the first time with Riziki Kenya, trust me, I was moved in my spirit. And I wanted to be part of a transformation of a life. Because I believe that people who live here, you can see how it looks. Life here is so hard. Even to get food to eat is really hard. We have to make a difference to all these people, to all these children, to all the people that live here and make their lives better. So we hope and we pray that God is going to touch a whole lot of people who can come and join us to do this, because this is a great initiative, not for us, but for all these people, for Kenyans and the world at large. Gotta make the world a better place. This place gotta be a better place.
Nicholas explains to Misha something of the day-to-day living expenses within Kibera.
They have to buy that as well. So how much is a bucket of that for one house?
40 shillings.
40 shillings.
40 shillings is about 30 pence. Most families survive on around 120 shillings per day.
Right, 15 litres. Then you've got to buy that. Then you've got to buy food.
Pay a house rent?
Pay rent too.
Yes.
Right.
And the children need to go back to school and pay some fees.
So there must be a lot of dehydration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kibera is not like a famine or a natural disaster. It is an ongoing situation which will only get worse without intervention. Hundreds of thousands of people live amidst unimaginable conditions. Kin founder Estelle Goodwin sums up what motivates her to keep working for Kibera.
Once you've seen the people living as they do, you cannot go back to your comfortable life and your comfortable home and do nothing about it. It's not possible to forget.
As for the children, they live amidst some of the worst poverty on earth. And yet their spirit is incredible. Kibera is full of laughter and smiles, but that's not an excuse to do nothing. Think about that life-changing moment and be a part of it. To find out how you can make a difference, please visit www.kiberainneed.org.